Good afternoon and welcome back to the YouTube channel of Older Bloke Crypto on February 16th, 2024. And if this screenshot that I'm starting with looks familiar, well, it is from the last couple of days. It's been pretty amazing how the retail shorts have come in and donated a lot of liquidity to the market, unfortunately for them. And I'll show you how you can benefit from that, as I have been over the last few days. And as you can see, today had a nice scalp from 27.95 to 28.57. Thank you very much. Just following liquidity. So before I get into it, just a reminder, this is not financial advice. None of my videos ever are. Please hit the like and subscribe button on this channel and the notification bell so you're notified when future videos are made. I make one, I try to at least, every weekday. So this is the last one for the week, coinciding, of course, with the institutional traders who only trade Monday to Friday and who put most of the liquidity into the market. So let's proceed, shall we? Let's see what you can achieve today. So as I said on this screen grab, Ethereum, will it reach 27.90 or 28.90? They seem to be the boundaries of the trading area today for Ethereum in the next 24 hours anyway. So 4.5 hours after the close. Let's see what happens. We're well into the Asian session, UK session coming up, and then the American, of course, but the Asian session has been very useful. And this is what I said 2 days ago when a lot of these price movements kicked off and we went into the trending market out of the previous range. This was at 27.20 or 24.70, and that was answered fairly clearly. It was 27.20 and in fairly short order. And then this was yesterday, and what a great day it was with 3 trades closed. There was the high time frame one from 26.40 to 27.21 to kick it off. And then as price came back to, as it often does after a liquidity grab, came back to 27.23, had another go, and then came back again to 27.50 after the previous had closed out at 27.52. So a great 3 trades on that day. And another one today. And of course, the day is not over yet. So let's see where we go today, 27.90 or 28.90, and let's set our trades appropriately. And the easiest way to run you through this is through the tweets I've been tweeting as this process has gone on, because this really shows you that I've been following the liquidity, simple as that. And look, it's a really simple process right now with a lot of retail money coming in from inexperienced, over-leveraged traders. So it's really, as I said, really simple process. So I'll just quickly go through that and then we'll refer to the EMAs. But although the EMAs are my preferred indicator, in times like this, the liquidity is just number one and it is really, really obvious. So this was last night before I went to bed. I tweeted about this, and that was that there was a liquidity pool. This is on the heat maps that we're using from CoinGlass. And it was sitting right up there, all on its lonesome 28.25. Well, we weren't that far below that. And as I said, yes, it could be a spoof, what's called a spoof ask, which is where the big boys come in and place liquidity in an attempt to draw the market, draw the price to it, and then they pull that liquidity before the price reaches it. So it's quite a well-known trick, but also this could be retail, and there's no real way to know about that from the average trader perspective. So we just go with what's there, what's in front of us, as I've said before. So, all right, and as I said, when I wake up in the morning, I expect that to be taken out. And of course, what happens the next morning or this morning when I got up, there it goes. As Gamer Pyle said, well, golly, there it went. And so that 28.25 had been taken out during the night. But I had left a trade open. I had not set a stop for that because expecting the price to continue on to the upside. So I left it open for the night, and let's see what happens subsequently. And as I said, the retail shorts didn't seem to be learning. So looking at the 12-hour chart there, shorts are at it again, next band to the upside, which had been thickening during the course of today as the downside band thinned, and I'll zoom out in that in just a second, was 28.56. And at the time that I wrote this tweet, there was only $15 gap to go towards that. And it's just inevitable as night follows day that it was going to get taken out. And there was 16.73 million worth of shorts just on Binance alone. Now let's look at this sad story for the shorts. Oh, look at that. As I said, 28.56 is coming into play. You see that there? That was the next liquidity band. This was the price at the time. Yes, there was liquidity to the downside, but that was lightening off over the course of the morning while this was strengthening. And it was within $14 of 28.56. No prizes for guessing what happened next. Yep, you guessed it. Price blew straight through that 28.56, and we had to channel South Park again with their banking meme. Put the money in the bank and it's gone straight away. Well, let's have a look at what the shorters did with their funds, and it was gone straight away. And look at that. There goes that candle straight through 28.56. So 20 minutes after I tweeted. So there it went, and there it's gone. So you think, okay, the retail shorts are going to learn from this. But hang on a sec. There's a couple more bands, particularly this one, above it. So they must be listening to shillers and people who just don't know any better, who just want eyes on the screen and getting paid to make videos. I don't know, but they're not listening to the people that they should be. And really, it makes me sad for them. It's a lesson that they're going to learn, or they're going to go broke if they just keep it up. And so I may as well take that liquidity as much as the big boys and say that was a nice trade for me. Remember I said that 28.56. I had my stop set at 28.57 because when price goes through a liquidity band, it tends to go through for a few dollars over it and then comes back, which is what we're seeing now. And then, as I said on this final tweet, I just couldn't help but continuing to think of good old Dolly Parton and her song, Here You Come Again, because if anyone's familiar with that great classic, the shorts are at it again. And as I said in this heat map, look at this here, 12 hours again. Next candidate is 28.80, and there's 27.32 million short liquidation sitting there, and that's only $35 away from that current price. Remember I said to you that price goes through the liquidation band and then tends to come back a bit. Well, it's having a breather at the moment, and it still is several hours later. But we're going to see where that band is now and if it's still sitting there. And boy, oh boy, there it is. Look at that there. Now, what are we up to? Now, we've got 16.7 sitting right on 28.80. There was a couple of bands sitting here previously in the last hour or so, 28.80 and 28.90. So it seems to have consolidated around that 28.80. But nevertheless, it's a similar amount that got taken out earlier today. Very similar, and it's sitting there at 28.80 with price currently sitting in the 28.40. So what do you think is going to happen next? Well, yeah, sure, price could come down here. There could be some event that happens to knock price down. We've always got to be aware of that in crypto, and that's why I have a permanent hedge strategy in place. I've got a short position waiting in the wings as a hedge just in case. And I use the example of the Chinese dictator deciding that he's going to gobble up Taiwan. You imagine what happens to the market if that happens. Well, there's 40% straight away to the downside. Whilst it's unlikely, you've got to be ready because anything can happen in crypto. So there is a lighter band down here at 28.15, not a long way below the price action, but it's something to be considered. But as I said, look, this is as clear as night follows day. We're up here at 28.80 odd, and that's where price is likely to head next. And just looking at my preferred little customized chart that I have here, this was what happened in the middle of the night. Remember I said to you in previous times, when these two size 3 liquidity bubbles fire, this is on the 1 hour chart. They're saying it's time to take the liquidity off the trade, to close the trade out and to say thank you very much. And so that happened about midnight. So I would have taken that normally, but as I said, I'd left it open as a higher time frame trade, expecting price to continue on to the upside. So that was fine. And then I taken that trade out later on today as price came into the liquidity bands this morning up here, as price came into and took out those bands. Now, I'll just mention a couple of things. Yes, look at this thick liquidity down here to 2,600. It's sitting there. There's a lot of people in longs, staying in longs at the moment. And yes, that can attract price, of course. But I keep coming back to supply and demand of Bitcoin. Whilst that is there and whilst demand is way outstripping supply, these, in my opinion, these longs are pretty safe down here at around the 2,600. But just look at this, the traditional market here. Look, the VIX, the S&P, the NASDAQ, the Dixie, the Dow Jones, all really, except for the Dixie, which is up a little bit. Look at that. The VIX is down. It's been down a lot this week. The S&P is sitting at its all-time highs. The NASDAQ's up. So you've got TradFi happy. And we've got a rising market, obviously, with crypto, with the Bitcoin demand. If you remember yesterday, I was saying that my next high time frame upside target is around the 3170, and I showed you on the weekly chart why I said that. But let's have a look here on the daily, which is what I most often trade in. And you'll know here, that was a prior yearly high. Okay, and now we're into a new range, and we are still continuing to trend. Now, what we need to see happen to say, okay, there's a range happening, obviously, is to get a top and a bottom to the range. Now, we could establish a bottom of the range back here at 2720 or near to that. And as I said to you about that liquidity band on the heat map chart, now there is a lighter band down here at 2820, but let's zoom out a bit. Let's go to the 24-hour. $27.60. We're not at 27.20, but it's getting down there. So there is some liquidity down there, and we certainly could get back to test the bottom of this new range. So we look at that 27.20 and we keep that in mind. If price does come down, and we're coming into the weekend, we've got one more US session, one more UK session starting in about 3 hours. Yes, about 3 hours for the UK and then the US session. So technically we could come down, but if we do, I would expect it to happen over the weekend. But what do? As I said before, we trade the data that is in front of us. We're trending. We've got the EMAs all lined up and spreading to the upside on the high time frame, indicating that up is the direction we should be expecting. And then looking Bitcoin, once again, look at that, beautiful. Who doesn't like a green candle? Now, of course, we're going to get a pullback at some point, absolutely. But while supply is less than demanded, substantially so, we are going to continue it to the upside. So that is what I'm expecting, at least into the weekend, led by Bitcoin, of course. And for those like me that trade Ethereum primarily, look at this now. This is the ETH chart and it continues to climb. Now it's just touching that 50 EMA on the daily. It's just about bang on there. So let's see if it continues to the upside. It would be great if it does, because great for ETH. And then subsequently, as many of you know, the capital flows into ETH from Bitcoin and then to the alts. We really get alt season. So all looking in a positive direction. So getting down to tin tacks finally, where am I trading? Where are my levels? Okay, I took this scalp today, closed it out at 28.57. Immediately put a placeholder ETH long at 10 ETH, which is set around the 28.55. Subsequently added to that as prices come down. So we've got 15 ETH sitting there in the low 28.40s now. That is that's the entry price for this particular trade. Now I will set my stop at, no surprise, 28.80. Drum roll, please. I know it's out of the box, isn't it? But it's just how it is. So feel free to do the same if you so choose. But if you do so, remember, you've got to have the capital to back your trades. What if it goes against you? You've got to be prepared for that. So you've always got to trade within your means, and I do. So I might be trading 15 ETH. There's someone out there who might be trading 1,500 ETH. There's someone who might be trading 1.5 ETH at 2 times leverage instead of the 100 times that I do. You do you. Trade within your means. Don't get wrecked. There's too much. They've got 18 months of this bull market to go. And you can make life-changing money. Simple as that. Just be sensible. So this is Old Bloke Crypto, dispensing some homespun wisdom from 27 years of trading and investing experience. Hope you find it useful. Trade safely. Hope to hear that you have a successful Friday, wherever you are. And I will talk to you again on Monday.